If you're waiting for the next alt season, don't make a move until you've watched this video. One historical pattern changes everything. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly when the next alt season is most likely to begin using nothing but historical data and facts. No fake hype, no unrealistic predictions, just pure data. So without wasting any more time, let's get right into it. So if you watched our Bitcoin cycle video, we're going to use a very similar technique to predict when the next alt season could begin. This right here is the total 3 chart, which represents the overall crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. In my opinion, this is one of the best charts to predict the next alt season. As you can see, we currently have data from the past 3 market cycles. In cycle 1, it took roughly 913 days after the halving for the alt season top to come in. Then we actually had 2 bottoms. The first bottom came around 334 days after the top, and the second bottom came roughly 1,095 days later. In cycle 2, it took roughly 549 to 578 days after the halving for the alt season top to form. Then it took roughly 395 to 425 days for the cycle bottom. And finally, in cycle 3, it again took roughly 548 to 578 days after the halving for the top to come in, and around 273 to 303 days for the cycle bottom. Now here's where things start getting really interesting. From the halving to the alt season top, the timing has become extremely consistent over the last 2 cycles. But if you look at the duration from the top to the bottom, you'll notice something else. The duration has been shrinking by roughly 100 to 120 days every cycle. Now let's apply that to our current cycle. If the last alt season top came around October 2025, then based on historical data, the next bottom should arrive roughly 300 to 400 days later. That gives us a window between 28th July and 5th November 2026. Interestingly, this also matches almost perfectly with the Bitcoin bottom theory I shared in my previous Bitcoin cycle video. But remember, I also mentioned that the cycle duration has been shrinking by around 100 to 120 days. So if we narrow down the range and apply that trend to this cycle, we get roughly 273 to 303 days, which means the altcoin bottom is most likely to form around July to August 2026. Now this brings us to the biggest question of today's video. When can the next alt season actually begin? If we consider August 2026 as the bottom, then historically the next alt season top could arrive around March 2028. And if the bottom forms around November 2026, then the next alt season top could happen around June 2028. Now let's use another set of data just to confirm whether our analysis makes sense. Our cycle 1 top was around $358 billion in market cap, while the bottom came in at roughly $26.71 billion. That's a total correction of 92.54%. In cycle 2, the top was roughly $1.14 trillion, and the bottom came in around $281.44 billion. That's a correction of roughly 75.31%. Now let's look at our current cycle. The top was around $1.19 trillion, and at the time of recording, the market cap is sitting around $667 billion, which means we've only corrected about 43.95% so far, which clearly tells me I don't think the bottom is in yet. If you notice, every cycle has experienced a smaller correction than the previous one, from roughly 92% down to 75%. So if that trend continues, a reasonable expectation would be somewhere around 58% to 70%, which means the total 3 market cap could potentially fall to somewhere between $357 billion and $500 billion. That would represent my worst case and minimum case scenarios. Now let's talk about the upside. In cycle 1, we saw a rally of roughly 4,169% from the bottom to the top. In cycle 2, that rally dropped significantly to around 323%. So once again, the returns have also been shrinking every cycle, which means a realistic expectation for the next cycle would probably be around 200% to 350%. Based on our projected bottom, that could take the total 3 market cap to roughly $1.61 trillion on the conservative side and up to around $2.25 trillion on the optimistic side. So that's all for today's video. I genuinely hope you found it valuable. These videos take a lot of time and research to make, so if you enjoyed it, I'd really appreciate it if you could smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps push the algorithm and allows me to keep making more data-driven content like this. Now, there are still a few things that I simply can't share publicly on YouTube, because if everyone follows the exact same strategy, eventually it stops working. But I've shared enough hints throughout this video. If you're able to connect the dots, there's a very good chance you'll be well prepared for the coming months. And if you don't want to spend hours doing all this research yourself, I've already shared my complete roadmaps, buying zones, exit plans, and market updates inside our VIP group, including exactly where I'm looking to buy and when I'm planning to step out of the market. Membership starts at just $6 and goes up to $50, depending on the tier you choose. There's no lock-in period, and unlike many groups out there, we don't charge thousands of dollars just to keep you trapped. We also share spot setups, leverage setups, and plenty of free trading ideas across all our social media platforms. So if you're interested, check out the links in the pinned comment below. Our next video is going to be on XRP, and trust me, it's another one you won't want to miss. So make sure you're subscribed, turn on notifications, and I'll see you in the next one.